Here's animal husbandry and intelligent design and evolution and scientific inquiry going backwards. So I walked past my computer to my drawing desk, and I just finished essentially this drawing of what happens when you mate pens and animals together. You get their children, their loved children. And the first, where is it? The first creature, first mating that happened between this waterman and this salts pen to come up with this, the swag. The dog and the swan made a swag, which I drew with this pen, I think. I'm forgetting now what happened. But as I was walking past my pile of pens that I'm selling, I ran across this pen. Now this one certainly has familial DNA that belongs to this. They're both Watermans. They both have missing clips that have the slip-on clip put on. This one, so this clearly could be considered the child of this. So we're going to work backwards. We found this animal. I haven't drawn this animal yet because I don't know who his mother is. So this is going to fit right here. But I'll find out, actually, come to think of it. The animal has to have a nib that has this sort of characteristic. It's fine, flexible, somewhat flexible. It's a little stiff, so it takes a lot from this guy. This guy was loud and barky, and this is very much the father of this. There's a lot of DNA, a lot of traits that were passed on to this creature from this parent. Now, what mother would have created that pattern? Well, who do we have to pick from? Oh, let's just throw incest in the mix. This was... Okay, well, we'll just make it this one. How about? So this dog, this pen and this... No, we're not going to use that. We're going to have... This is going to be the incest. No. Now I'm getting confused again. Did I do a drawing with this one? I don't think I did. So we're going to we'll keep this one, even though this only brought to the table the red lining, the red veining in here. There's really nothing else that this one brought to it. So the armadillo and the dog created this. Now, because there's a little tiny bit of, I guess these aren't related at all by blood, so there's no actual blood incest. There's just this one had sex with its child's wife. So that's sort of incestuous, right? So let's just continue the drawing here. So now how does this work with a family tree? What do we have to do here to show that? I have to draw a little dotted line. I want it to be over here. How do we draw this? I mean, this has to happen in family trees all the time, especially with royalty. Everyone's screwing everyone else. This is another adult video, so children, hide your ears, plug your ears, close your eyes. So this dog is going to hump the armadillo, who's now married to his son, the swag. Well, let's just make a dotted line. How about? Because I don't know how to do the. This is very unattractive from a. So anyway, they got together. The dog and the armadillo, and they had an offspring. Now their offspring, here, let's just get to the actual interesting part. I'll use red ink to draw this animal. This animal is, the redness is coming only from the armadillo. The red veining in the plastic. The plastic is also, this is hard rubber, made of hard rubber. It's a Waterman made of hard rubber, and it produced a Waterman pen with red veining. And the red veining in this case came from the Schaefer armadillo. Its nib is mainly its parent dog. It's slightly finer, which isn't really what this pen is about. But anyway, let's see. What is this going to look like, though? What is this animal going to look like? And what are we going to call it? It's a dog and a dogadillo. A dogadillo. A dogadillo. We're going to call it a dogadillo. Dogdillo? Dogadillo. Dogadillo. A-D-I-L-L-O. It's a dogadillo. So it's going to have a... What is it going to look like? It's going to have a dog head. And it's going to have 4 legs. And it's going to have a little, it's going to have an armor plating back. And a tail. So how does it differ from the swagadillo? Well, it should be similar to the swagadillo because there's a lot of DNA that belongs to each of these. So the dogadillo. So there's the dogadillo. It was its waggly tail. How much is that dogadillo in the window? The dogadillo. Now if the dogadillo what would happen if the dogadillo had sex with the swag? Let's make this a female dogadillo. So what sort of incest is that going to involve? Would they be blood related? They would have some genetic material from the dog. They would be half brothers, I guess, right? The swag and the dogadillo. Well, let's just do it. Let's say that happened. ... Okay, now, what did I draw the swag with? I think I drew the swag with this. Yes, I did. The swag was drawn with the gold barrel came from its mother. The fine flexible nib came from sort of its mother, but it's a sturdy flexible nib. So now we've got these two things, the dogadillo and the swag, together. This is how they hump, by the way. Children, cover your eyes. This is not, you can't see this. And then they sort of they exchange caps. Okay, you know, all sorts of weird stuff happens in sex of pens. I think some of my pens reproduce when I'm not watching them, because it seems to me I have more and more of them every day. I come down to my desk, there's more pens on it. So what sort of pen would this one create? We have, in fact, I know which one it's going to be. It's going to be this one. It's going to be this. I just decided it's going to be this, because what they both have relatively fine nibs, the swag and the dogadillo have relatively fine nibs, but it's their recessive gene that came from their mother, from the swag's mother. The recessive gene of fragility, because of this nib was very fragile, is sort of exhibited in this pen. The gray stripes exist here. The red is missing. The armadillo, yeah, that's right, the red is missing. The red which represented the sort of strength and bulldoggedness of the armadillo is gone. That was in the dogadillo. So now we've got this pen. And this is my Franken pen. This has a Victorian dip pen nib in it, which I normally was going to use for calligraphy, but I found that it was really fun to draw with. And it has a really nice fineness. So both the fineness of both these pens was a dominant trait, which led to this dog-headed, bewinged, feathered thing. And that's what this pen wants to draw. It's still going to have a dog head. There's no way to get around that, because the dogadillo and the swag are dog-headed. So there's nothing, we can't change that, right? Zoom in here to see the dogadillo. The dogadillo. So, I'm sorry, what are we calling this thing? Oh, so it's the love child of the dogadillo and the swag. So I have to come up with a name for this thing. But we do know that it's going to be covered in feathers, except for the head. The head is going to be unfeathered. There's a lot of feathers in this one because of the dogadillo. Okay, this is just turning into craziness. Okay, this is what's going to happen. This is really weird, but because of the incest, you know, we don't have a Habsburg lip like what happens in reality. We have other things that are just as ugly and just as weird. I'm sorry to all of you Habsburgs that are watching this. I'm sorry for saying that you have an ugly lip, but have you ever looked in the mirror? God, how did that happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happened. You had sex with your children. So this, the armor plating that the dogadillo has, you know, you often think about the soft underbelly of animals. You know, they're you can hit them in the back and you can jump on their back, but if you jump on their underbelly, they die. because all of their guts are so easy to bite into. This one, the armor plating went where it was needed. So its undercarriage is armor plated. Take that, you creature that's trying to bite me. So this is throwing. Now what sort of legs does it have? It had 4 here and 2 there. So how many should this one have? 6? We've suddenly made it have, maybe it doesn't have any legs. It's covered with feathers. It has except for the stomach, which is made of armor plating. Oh, let's just continue with the armor plating. This is again what happens when you inbreed. See what I'm doing? These are tank treads. These are plates that, like a tank, will move around. Now this is a really weird addition to our biology, but because this is an intelligent design, this isn't evolution, that can happen. Because God said, I know what I'll do. I'm going to put tank treads on this animal because I can. Have you ever seen tank treads on an animal? Well, that should prove it. God does not exist. There was one of the things that I was watching about there was one biologist that said the flagellum, this rotary motor / flagellum thing, proved that therefore God existed because of this sudden contraption that this little bacteria had, or whatever the hell it was. It was this little thing that whipped around like a rotary motor. Now, if the rotary motor said Evinrude on it, I'd say, okay, yeah, God existed. But the rotary motor didn't say Evinrude. It was just this bunch of proteins and cells, or I don't know what the hell it was, but all of these things put together and they spin around, which was proved by real scientists, not this crackpot, that yes, this could have easily evolved, because here's an animal that has part of it, and here's another animal that has another part of it, and it's not that so much of a leap of chance that one of its descendants would flip around. So anyway, what are we calling this? I'm sorry. Dogadillo and a swag. So there's a lot of ogs in here. There's a swag and a dogadillo. So I think the og has to be part of it. Og. But its feathers are really an important part of this creature, which came from its maternal grandmother, I guess, or something. No. This is the mother, so it did not come from it came from the paternal the paternal grandmother was the swan. And the feathers really, so I think the W has to be part of this again, the swag part. And we've already have a, do we have a swagadillo? We have a swagadillo. See, we have it. See this? I'm confused. See, this is, now how are these related? Well, this is it's not a swagadillo, because it's a dogadillo and a swag. The swag and the armadillo made the swagadillo. So this can't be a swagadillo. This could be a swag dog. Swag dog. Swag dog. There's a D. Swag dog. Swag dog. It's a swag dog. It's a swag doggy. Swag doggin. It's a swan. Swag doggin. Swag dogadillo. Swag. We'll just call it a swag dog. A feathered swag dog. Feathered swag dog. There we go. So it, from the nib point of view, the nib is what we're talking about, or the big clunky masculine barky dog, flexible but pretty stiff nib, mated with the dogadillo, which is a similar nib, fine, but finer. So they produced a finer, and it's, for frankenpen, it's pretty firm, but it's somewhat flexible. So, but that came from the paternal grandmother, the swan. So there we go. Really a lot of feathers on this thing, the swagadillo. Swag dog. Okay, now let's, just a minute, we have to zoom out again so the entire family tree is shown here. So how are the swagadillo and the swag dog related? They have the same, they have genetics, they each share the same grandfather. My head hurts. They share the same grandfather. They share some of the genetic material of the mother of the swagadillo, and it's just really confusing. Someone has to explain this to me. The grandfathers are the same. This person's mother was its mother's cousin, its mother's half-sister. Oh, my head hurts. But this is what resulted. Something, the animal version of the Habsburg lip. This is why inbreeding should not be allowed. It's an abomination, even to Darwin. Look what happens. The swag dog doesn't make any sense. The end.